Stop. Before you watch another second of this video, I want you to think about the last big decision you made. A job you applied for, a person you chose to trust, a path you decided to take. You felt it, right? That moment of choice, that sense of, I decided this. This was me. This was my free will. What if I told you that wasn't true? What if the decision was already made, 7 seconds before you thought you made it? And what if AI already knew which way you'd go before you even knew you had a choice? Welcome to AI Anthropology. Today, we're going somewhere uncomfortable, because the story of human free will just got a lot more complicated, and the people who understand this are already using it against you. Let's start with neuroscience, not AI, your brain. In 2008, a team of researchers at the Max Planck Institute in Leipzig ran a study that shook the scientific world. They put participants in a brain scanner and asked them to make a simple decision: press a button with their left hand or their right hand, whenever they felt like it. Completely free choice. Then the researchers looked at the brain data, and they found something that should disturb every person alive. They could predict which hand the participant would choose, up to 7 seconds before the participant consciously decided. 7 seconds. The decision was already happening in the brain before the person had any awareness of making it. Then, in 2019, Australian researchers pushed it further. They predicted participants' choices up to 11 seconds before conscious awareness. 11 seconds. Your brain is making decisions. Then it sends a message to your conscious mind that says, hey, by the way, you just decided something. And your conscious mind says, yes, I chose that. That was me. But was it? This is what Professor John Dylan Haynes concluded, and I want you to hear this clearly. By the time consciousness kicks in, most of the work has already been done. Now, here's where it stops being philosophy and starts being something much more dangerous. If your own brain is making decisions before you're aware of them, what happens when an outside system learns the patterns of how your brain decides? This is exactly what behavioral AI does. Not just watching what you choose, watching how you choose. The hesitations, the scrolling patterns, the products you looked at but didn't buy, the searches you started and deleted, the time of day you make different kinds of decisions, all of it logged, analyzed, modeled. In 2013, researchers at Cambridge published a study showing that Facebook likes alone could predict your personality, your politics, your intelligence more accurately than your own friends and family could. That was 2013. Today, nearly 80% of companies now use some form of AI in hiring. Harvard Business Review. A company called HireVue, used by Goldman Sachs, Unilever, and hundreds of other firms, analyzes your micro-expressions, your speech patterns, your eye movements during job interviews. You think you're being evaluated on your answers. The machine is reading your face. But here is where it gets truly disturbing. Amazon was forced to scrap its AI-driven recruitment tool after discovering it penalized resumes containing the word women, as in women's chess club captain. MIT Sloan. The AI wasn't taught to be sexist. It learned it from historical data about who had been hired before. It looked at the past. It built a model, and then it started filtering your future based on patterns you had nothing to do with. Some AI tools downgraded resumes from graduates of historically black colleges because those schools hadn't traditionally fed into white-collar pipelines. Think about what this means. The algorithm looked at history, a history shaped by discrimination, and said, this is the pattern, this is who succeeds, and then it started replicating that pattern at scale, automatically, with the authority of data behind it. Your future filtered by a machine that learned everything it knows from a past that was already unfair. But here is the layer that almost nobody talks about. It's not just that AI is predicting your decisions, it's that knowing it can predict your decisions makes how you make them. When you know you're being watched, when you know an algorithm is evaluating your every move, you start performing. You optimize. You second-guess your instincts. You make the safe choice instead of the true one. And slowly, quietly, the unpredictable human becomes exactly as predictable as the machine expected. This is the trap. Not that AI controls you directly, but that the awareness of being predicted makes you easier to predict. The cage isn't made of iron, it's made of self-surveillance. So, what do we do with this? Here's the thing about the brain studies. The researchers were careful to say something important. Yes, the decision starts 7 seconds early, but the final outcome, it can still be reversed. Your conscious mind doesn't start the decision, but it can veto it. And here's what no AI in the world can model. The moment a human being decides to become someone they've never been before. Not the next predictable step, the rupture, the leap, the choice that comes from nowhere. AI learns from your past behavior. It cannot learn from your future self, the self you haven't become yet. Every person who has ever changed, really changed, did it by doing something the old data said they wouldn't. That capacity is still yours. It has not been taken. But it requires something that behavioral AI is specifically designed to erode, the willingness to act against your own pattern. This is AI anthropology. We are living through the most profound transformation in the history of human decision-making. The question is not whether AI will predict you. It already does. The question is whether you will let that prediction become your destiny. You think you made that decision. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. But from this moment forward, you know the difference, and that knowledge changes everything. If this video made you see something differently, share it with one person who needs to see it too. Subscribe to AI Anthropology and stay with us, because the next video goes even deeper.